Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a die-hard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. First up, some concerning news out of the Bay Area. The San Francisco 49ers star wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk has gone down with an injury ahead of their big matchup against the Dallas Cowboys this Sunday. Now, the details are still a little murky, but reports indicate Aiyuk suffered a leg injury during practice earlier this week. He's been sidelined, and his status for the game is very much up in the air at this point. This is a huge blow for the 49ers, no doubt about it. Aiyuk has really emerged as one of the premier young wideouts in the league. Last season, he put up over 1,000 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns, and he was off to a great start in 2022 as well, already racking up 458 yards and 2 scores through 7 games. He's a dynamic playmaker who can beat you in so many ways: the deep ball, the intermediate routes, making plays after the catch. He's a nightmare for opposing defensive coordinators to game plan against. And the timing of this injury couldn't be worse for San Fran. They're already dealing with a ton of other key injuries on both sides of the ball. Guys like Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell, Nick Bosa, all banged up to varying degrees. So to now potentially be without Aiyuk as well, that's just a massive blow to their offense. It's no secret the 49ers have had the Cowboys' number in recent years. They've won 6 of the last 7 meetings, including that heartbreaking playoff loss for Dallas last season. Dak Prescott and the boys have been circling this game on the calendar, looking to finally get over the hump against their NFC West rivals. But if Aiyuk can't go, that certainly changes the complexion of the matchup. The 49ers' defense is still very formidable, even with all their injuries. But if the Cowboys can take care of business at home and capitalize on Aiyuk's absence, that could be a huge momentum boost heading into the second half of the season. This is a game Dallas really needs to win if they want to solidify their standing in the NFC. All right, let's shift gears now and talk about some positive news on the Dak Prescott front. Earlier this week, the Cowboys' star quarterback was honored by his alma mater, Mississippi State University, as they retired his iconic number 4 jersey. This is an absolutely massive honor, and it's clear Dak's legacy and impact on the program will live on for generations to come. Now, Dak has obviously gone on to achieve tremendous success at the NFL level. A 4-time Pro Bowler, Offensive Rookie of the Year, led the Cowboys to a division title and a playoff win. But his roots in Starkville, Mississippi, will always be a huge part of his story. He was a 4-year starter for the Bulldogs, racking up over 9,000 passing yards and 70 touchdowns. He led them to some huge wins, including a victory over Auburn in 2014 that propelled Mississippi State to a 1 ranking in the country. Dak has always stayed incredibly loyal and connected to his college program. He's been back to campus numerous times, speaking to the team, mentoring the young quarterbacks, and giving back in all kinds of ways. So for the university to now immortalize him by retiring his number, that's just an unbelievable recognition of everything he's accomplished. And you could tell how much it meant to Dak when he was honored this week. He fought back tears, talking about how Mississippi State will always hold a special place in his heart. He credited the coaches, the teammates, the community for helping shape him into the man and player he is today. It was a really touching, emotional moment, a true testament to the impact Dak has had, not just on the field, but off of it as well. This is the kind of thing that can really energize a player heading into a big game. Dak's already been playing at an MVP level so far this season, and I have to imagine this honor from his alma mater is going to give him an extra little boost of motivation as he leads the Cowboys into battle against the 49ers. You know he's going to be extra fired up to represent Mississippi State and make them proud. All right, let's switch gears one more time now and talk about another big storyline that has Cowboys fans buzzing the potential return of Dalvin Cook to the NFC East. Now, before I get into the specifics, I just want to acknowledge up front that this is still very much just speculation and rumor at this point. Nothing is set in stone. But the buzz is definitely out there, and it's certainly an intriguing possibility worth discussing. The backstory here is that Dalvin Cook, the superstar running back for the Minnesota Vikings, has apparently been the subject of trade talks ahead of the November 1 deadline. There are rumblings that the Vikings could be looking to move on from Cook, potentially in an effort to free up some salary cap space and reinvest in other areas of their roster. Now, the team that's been most heavily linked to a potential Dalvin Cook trade? None other than the Dallas Cowboys. And there's actually some real logic behind this potential match. The Cowboys, of course, have one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL led by Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and that dominant offensive line. But the one position group that's been a bit of a question mark is running back. Ezekiel Elliott is still a workhorse and a Pro Bowl caliber player. But he's also been dealing with some nagging injuries the past couple seasons, and his production has dipped a bit. Tony Pollard has emerged as a dynamic change of pace back, but he's probably better suited in more of a complementary role. The Cowboys could definitely use that true alpha dog, bell cow back to anchor their ground game. Enter Dalvin Cook. When healthy, he's arguably the most complete running back in the league. He's a dominant force as a runner, with his combination of power, vision, and breakaway speed. But he's also an absolute nightmare for defenses in the passing game, a legit receiving threat out of the backfield. He would be an ideal fit in the Cowboys' offense, providing that extra dimension and taking the pressure off Dak and the passing attack. The Vikings, on the other hand, could stand to gain a lot by trading Cook. They're in the midst of a bit of a reset under new leadership, and shedding Cook's massive contract, $12 million per year, would open up a ton of much-needed cap space. Plus, they've already got a pretty talented young RB in Alexander Mattison who could potentially step in and fill the void. So from a pure football standpoint, it's easy to see the appeal for both sides. The Cowboys get their bell cow back, the Vikings get assets to help accelerate their rebuild. It's the kind of blockbuster, win-win trade that we don't see all that often in the NFL. Now, obviously, there are still a lot of hurdles to clear before anything like this could actually happen. The two teams would have to agree on compensation. The Vikings would have to be truly open to moving on from their star RB. The Cowboys would need to have the cap space to absorb Cook's contract. It's a complex situation with a lot of moving parts. But man, if the Cowboys were able to pull this off, acquiring a player of Dalvin Cook's caliber to pair with Dak, CeeDee, and that O-line, that would be a massive shot in the arm for their Super Bowl aspirations. It would immediately vault them into the upper echelon of offenses in the NFL. Defenses would have nightmares trying to game plan against that kind of firepower. So while this is still just speculation for now, it's certainly an enticing possibility that Cowboys fans will be keeping a close eye on as we approach the trade deadline. I, for one, would be absolutely stoked to see Dalvin Cook in a Dallas uniform. That would be must-watch TV week in and week out.